Have you heard of emoji domains but don't really know what they are or why anyone would be interested? This is a very interesting show with Matan Israeli, pioneer of emoji domains. One of the most interesting things, though, is his entire perspective. He's really comes in as an outlier. He sees opportunities others missed. He sees the international language challenges. And these could probably be applied to other areas as well. I think not only is this not only is this interesting for if you may want to invest in emoji URLs, this is also interesting if you're looking for a niche to widen your perspectives, to just grow your entrepreneurship spirit. Enjoy the show. Hope you learn a lot. First, serious about online trading? Secure your funds, keep your merchandise safe, and use a company that keeps the buyer and seller protected the whole way through. That's escrow.com. Payments you can trust.
FD was built by domain investors to increase your inquiries, sales, and profit. Forget spreadsheets and archived emails. Manage your entire investment portfolio in one place using a secure and completely confidential platform. Learn more at ft.com. That's EFTY, ft.com.
Hey, Sherpa Network. I'm Tess Diaz, executive producer of DomainSherpa.com. And today we're joined by Matan Israeli, pioneer in the emoji domain industry and founder of EmojiURLs.com. Hi, Matan.
Hi, Tess. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for joining us all the way from Israel. How is the emoji world these days? You know, we have no idea. I think most people in the industry hear nothing about it.
Yes, it's a good question. I'm getting emails from time to time from colleagues that were in the first days 2 and 3 years ago. It's doing great, thank you. But it's a little bit slower than the first 2 years. And actually, I think the beginning of the gold rush started thanks to the Sherpa show 2 years ago on April.
Really? So that affected emoji purchasing. Now, what really captivated me about emojis is your statement that they're universal language. There's, everyone recognizes a smiley face and a wink. So after the show that you filmed with Mike Seiger in April 2017, you saw a real increase in emoji domain registrations?
Yeah, exactly. I actually wrote down some timeline points here to make everything organized because I see many people speaking about it on Name Pros and some blogs, and everyone is giving some facts, so I put it on a real timeline. And also for mentioning the emojis as a universal language, actually today every smartphone has as a default emoji keyboard. And for us and for young people and millennials, actually a keyboard is equals to a language.
So, you're right. Yeah, and I remember years ago I had to download an emoji app to share emojis with friends, but now it's just automatic. You're right. Now, in terms of a gold rush, when you say there was a real increase in domain registrations, what about end user adoption or sales to end users? Where do you stand with that these days, or what statistics do you have over the years with that?
Yes, this is the number one question everyone have. I can provide some of my detail, my sales, but also a great resource for that will be DN Academy article on emojis, which was written almost 2 years ago, but being updated all the time by Mike Seiger. I'm sharing to him some of my sales when the customers agree to that, but most of my sales are under NDA.
Okay.
And in terms of end users, I lately sold the cheddar cheese emoji. I was actually upset that I need to chase after some food companies to sell them the cheese, right? To do some
To
outbounds.
sell them the cheese.
And yeah, and then I saw a viral video of, made by Cheddar, which is an online company. And then I emailed by mistake even on Sunday to the CEO, and we did the sale in less than 3 hours.
So in less than 3 hours, a CEO of a huge cheese company immediately saw the value and made a purchase.
So it's even not a cheese company; it's an online company that produce videos.
Oh, okay. So a marketing company, understood.
Exactly.
Much more quickly, probably. Interesting. And generally, are your sales outbound where you're reaching out to, yes, you're nodding
Yes,
your head.
most of my sales are outbounds.
Okay.
When I think which company could benefit from the domain, described it in 3-4 sentences in an email, like a cold outbound, and then send it to the CEO or CMO of the company. And most of the times I'm reaching them via LinkedIn.
Interesting. Okay. And how much do you need to educate? I mean, I know from my work at Media Options and in the brokerage field with a premium.com, you need to explain why they need it. Oftentimes they just don't have that expertise, let alone, I mean, I barely understand an emoji domain, at least the technical side of it. How much do you have to explain to them why they need or what an emoji domain is?
This is also a very important education I'm doing, like you do. I found myself describing domains, but then adding some the input of emojis into the regular conversation. Like I take your text that when you describe our regular domains, but I make it adapted into emojis. I add some inputs like that it's memorable, intuitive, short, and also a very, very important thing is the top of mind awareness.
Mm-hmm.
I really like to, in my outbound emails, and maybe it's a tip for our Sherpa watchers here, this awareness, top of mind awareness, is actually the main goal for every brand in terms of marketing.
Huh.
When people hear about a specific name or a brand, you want people to think about your brand. That company want to be thought of. And then I take an emoji, for example, the lipstick emoji. When people see the lipstick emoji or use it, then I said to the company, hey guys, you're using this emoji in your campaigns, in your social media. Now you can use it as a secondary domain. And the same, for example, with the coffee emoji. Many companies like Starbucks or Costa in Europe and even Dunkin' Donuts have thousands of tweets from their fans with the coffee emoji.
Right.
So,
now, what about the traffic on a domain like that, on the coffee symbol? Like, I don't even know how to type that in. What kind of traffic does that generate and how?
So actually, most of my domains redirect to my website, and I have Google Analytics on them, so I can compare which domain is stronger.
Okay.
And actually, the best thing that happened in the last 6 months is that Google Chrome, which is the most used internet browser, created an option that if you press right-click on the URL bar, the first option is actually emoji. And
really?
if you, in laptops, in computers, if you type it, if you press on it, it opens an emoji selection tool. Right click on the
Oh my gosh.
search
Oh my
bar.
gosh,
Yeah.
it's real.
It's a life-changing, yes, I know.
What? Okay,
Totally.
let's see. I want to, can we share my screen and put it on the recording here, I wonder? I
I
think
hope
we
so.
can. Google Chrome, new tab. Let's try it. And I think this is what people are seeing. So you go to Google Chrome, you right click, and the first option, oh my gosh, is emoji and symbols. I had no idea. So tell me, can you see my screen right now, Matan?
Yes, I see.
Okay, tell me a symbol to pick.
Anything you want. Maybe it's mine. Maybe I sold it.
Okay, let's do
But,
your lipstick. So all I do is the lipstick and then press go, because now it's suggesting these other things.
So
but if I
you can add the extension .ws, or you
but
can
what
just
if I don't? Then it
yes,
just searches
so,
it?
so yeah, you see actually that Google recognize it. Google index emojis.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, hold on. So if I type in the WS, but who would know to type in the WS?
So my main goal when I'm selling a domain is to tell the company or the customer, please educate on how to use it with
Okay.
a short video, tutorials, and also I prepared here something else. For example, this is from a bar. You can see that.
Yes, I don't know if our.
So actually, it's an advertisement to download the app.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I'm saying maybe this company can use the emoji domain for downloading their app instead of going to Apple Store, searching the brand name, downloading the app, then they just type a short domain.
Okay, wait. So much just happened. My mind is kind of blown. So I want to go back here to the lipstick. And you're saying this is indexed. So they index the image is indexed. So
Yes.
like you're the top result, lipstick emoji. And then others like what's in the search results includes the emoji, not just is it actually about lipstick, but it includes the emoji.
Exactly.
That's
But
what you're saying.
yes, and if you search on Google, you search the lipstick.ws. Let's see what it shows.
Okay, but wait. So is it just this result here? Do you see my screen still?
Yes, yes.
Is it just this result here, and then all of these ones no longer have the emoji, or
yes,
are these?
Because companies and websites didn't use the emoji in their SEO strategy.
Okay.
There is a real potential here. Yes.
Okay. Interesting. And I bet people type in emojis and just search, right? Okay,
Yes.
so you said then try it out with the .ws, but nobody's going to know to put .ws at the end. But I do see your use of the emoji. Is this yours too?
This is the website made by John Roy to GoDaddy, which I will cover in the emoji timeline I prepared.
Okay, cool. All right. Wow, and tons of search results. Very interesting.
Yes. Also, if
Wow.
you press, for example, burger or pizza emoji, and then near me, you can see something.
Oh, okay. So let's do it. Pizza, burger.
One of them, or coffee maybe.
Okay, here we are at food. Let's do pizza near me. Boom! What?
Yes.
Huh.
This is a real potential for businesses.
Wow, no kidding. Fascinating. All right. So Matan, do you want to take us through the timeline now?
Yes, yes. So many people ask about it, so I will do I do it organized.
All
So
right.
in 2001, which considered early days of the internet,
Yeah.
people bought emojidomains.com, and I spoke with one of the guys, which I will not discover his name. I don't know if he's interested. And he was very interested in Japanese domains, and also got a newsletter by ICANN that described that a new thing called Punycode now is evolving.
Yeah, Punycode, Puny. It stands for something. I don't know what. Yeah, it's a type of Unicode or a representation of Unicode.
Exactly.
Okay.
And some people that were really first and pioneers in the domain industry bought Japanese names, and because they had awareness of those symbols, they also tried to register some symbols that are known symbols, like the sun or telephone or peace symbol and stuff like that.
Okay. But they all have to have a dot something at the end. So .com allowed it for a little while.
Exactly. So this is in 2001. People bought .com, .net domains.
And the Punycode, that's the XN -- domains that you see, right?
Exactly. Every emoji has behind it the XN -- something.
Okay.
With numbers and letters, exactly.
Okay.
And then people waited. The industry evolved. For example, in 2006, one guy bought the victory hand like this, symbol.com, which is now owned by Angelist, a very known company.
By whom?
Angelist.
Angie's List?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They bought this domain, this cool singleemoji.com domain.
And that's a .com.
Yes, this is actually one out of less than 30 .com and .net domains that exist today as a fact. If you look on the list of those around 30 domains, which I can send you later and you can share, around 5 emojis are real emojis that people use. Some are symbols nobody know and aware of them because we have more than 2,800 emojis in our phone today. So some of them is like the airplane emoji, which I'm brokering for this owner, the airplaneemoji.com.
Okay.
Second one is the watch emoji or the scissors emoji.
Huh. Yes. Okay. So angel.co, it's Angel List, the startup company. They're the ones who own, you call it the victory sign, I call it the peace sign, but I see how they mean it for victory, probably in victory in entrepreneurship. Very interesting. So they bought that long ago. I know with, say, X.co and Z.co, there are real issues that those were issued so long ago, and then they weren't allowed to be transferred unless you bought the whole company or something like that was the rumor for many years. Are there weird rules? Like, can Angel List ever sell that or transfer that to another entity or no?
So for this question, I actually don't know, but I do know that three months ago, a few .com emoji domains were deleted because the owner did not renew them.
Oh.
Yes, someone had the umbrella emoji.com, the Star of David, the Jewish symbol.com, and 2 more, and they are now gone forever. Yes.
They couldn't be back ordered or caught?
Nothing. It's gone forever. And I like to say it's a collector's item.
Huh. Yeah. Now, do you think that points to emojis not having significant value?
No, I think the owner is someone who bought them in the late 2000s. and probably forgot about them or didn't understand what emojis are. I'm
Okay.
still finding myself educating people all the time.
I see. Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So for
Okay.
my timeline, which we started, then at 2008 to 2010, I can actually created a thing called the IDN 2008, which is a restriction of thousands of symbols not to be a .com. This is the official ban, actually. And then we jump into 2015.
What's your understanding of why they did that?
Yes, because they restricted all the languages from being on .com and .net, etc. Because then someone can register, for example, PayPal.com when the A have a small dot on top of it.
Oh, so too much potential for spam or spoofing or is a
Exactly.
security risk. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, and the emojis were among these languages and symbols that were restricted. And
Okay.
in 2015, Coca-Cola had a campaign in Puerto Rico with billboards using emoji domains.
Okay.
And this is the time when people and companies heard about emoji domains are being an option and working.
Yep. That's
and
when
then,
I heard, I remember. Yeah.
And then the gold rush began.
Okay.
I was there because I read an article about the sale of 360.com made by the Vodafone to a Chinese company. And then I did 1 + 1 = 3. I said, okay, emoji domains, big money, I can be a monopoly. And I joined, or maybe started, the gold rush.
Huh. Now, when you say the 360 sale, are you saying because of the numbers?
So yeah, 360.com is a known sale because of the numbers and the meaning in China. And it was all over the media.
So you realized that numbers are, I mean, we all know that numbers, especially in Asia, are huge because of the language barriers, and that numbers are an international language. And so you saw that as 1 + 1 = 3, as therefore so are pictures, emojis, which ironically, you know, the Asian culture uses even more than numbers in general, in their way of thinking, in their culture. And I don't know, maybe in their internet use or maybe not. Do you find that more Asian companies are purchasing your emoji URLs than anyone else?
Actually not. The only country I see traffic from and the very increasing traffic is Philippines, which I saw that they consider the emoji addicts in Asia. But countries like Japan and China, it's still a little bit far from my traffic, yes.
Interesting. And in the Philippines, their language is English, right?
Yes.
Do you have any insight into why then? Is like they do the English and they see all the usage of the emojis, but then with the influence of Asian culture, there's a lot more pictographic influence, or I'm just making things up?
I personally think that because the young generations in Philippines speak English since they're born, since first grade, then they see and watch the American media.
Mm.
So then they mimic or copy some things they see.
Interesting. Okay. Now, I know you're on your timeline, but I just have to ask, what about in Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, everywhere where people are putting all their these emojis? Are those automatically linked to the website, or it's not a link unless someone intentionally builds it with the .ws in the code?
So you touched the most painful point, which I wanted to speak about actually. Since the beginning, there is an issue with Facebook and Instagram with understanding that emoji domains are domains. And actually, nobody can type the emoji .ws domain and press on it on those platforms. And this is the main barrier for me, which I see it every day in every meeting, why people are not chasing for having an emoji domain, because it's not pressable or clickable when you do it. You cannot put emoji domain in your Instagram bio. That's the main barrier. Yes.
Really? So you can't use it in your Instagram bio. Can you use it? I've struggled to use it like in a subject line. You can't always use it there. In fact, I think like MailChimp allows it and Constant Contact doesn't allow it. So there's really no standardization, huh?
Yeah, Twitter fully supports emojis. If you press HTTP and then the HTTP, the 2 dots, / then the emoji will be clickable.
Okay, walk me through it. Do you see my screen again?
Yes.
So I'm on Twitter, and I'm going to say, filming a fascinating show right now with, what's your Twitter handle?
Emoji URL.
Of course it is. Emoji URL.
Yes. Emoji domains, yes.
Is that you?
Yes.
Emoji URL? Or I have to say emoji domains?
I think it's working.
Okay. And then now I already put the lipstick in. I'm going to do it again in case people didn't see. So I just right click. The first choice is emoji. And then the lipstick. Now, does that automatically link? No.
No, you should type before it, HTTP. And then the emoji .ws.
Then where'd that lipstick go? Come on. Okay, lipstick.ws.
That's it. Twitter saw it's a domain.
So Twitter knows it's a domain.
Yeah, and
but
automatically
they still include the .ws.
Yes,
so
but
it's not just the lipstick.
Yes.
Okay. Now, who else? So say Instagram. Can I go to Instagram on a laptop? I don't even know.
I think you can do it, yes.
All right, let's find out. Wow.
So then on Instagram, it's not clickable. That's the painful point.
Okay, so on Instagram, even if you put the HTTPS or something, it's just no way that it will ever be clickable.
Yes.
Okay.
On Facebook Messenger, it is working, but on Facebook, on posts or pages, it's not working.
Really? So very inconsistent.
Yes. This is the only barrier we have until today.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. And for my timeline, I have more points to cover, don't worry, many. So February 2015, there is the Coca-Cola and the Gold Rush. And then I was one of the first and one of the strongest in this Gold Rush, where I personally selected emojis that I think I have thousands of potential customers for them.
Okay.
I personally like items or objects instead of the faces, because I think a company can relate into shoes, jeans, or a ring, and not to sick face, hug, stuff like that.
Okay, hold on. So just like, I love how Drew Rosner in particular tells his story of, he's like, I paid what I would have paid for an Ivy League education buying domains that couldn't really be resold and taken a loss on them until he figured it out. And at the end of the day, it's a product or a service. And nowadays brandables that can sell a product or service, right? So you found the same thing. You're purchasing the cheese and the lipstick. You're not purchasing just a smiley face, because that is never going to be something that one particular brand says, I've got to have the smiley face, the winking face. It makes no difference. Very
Exactly.
like intuitive, that just instantly clicks with me. Okay. So, and right away you only started buying the products or services, or you learned by making mistakes?
So it's important to mention that at this time, I even don't know what GoDaddy is or what domains are. It was literally an
Wait a
idea.
minute. You are buying emoji domains and you've never even heard of GoDaddy? And did you just say you've never heard of domains?
Yes, I didn't know anything about domain names, CCTLDs, nothing. Yes,
Oh.
I
So
was
that's the way
buying.
you
Yeah,
entered this market. Wow, you are an outlier. And that's just it. You know, Matan, everybody wants to find a niche, and you're coming from, you know, English, I assume, is not your first language.
not at all.
And so you see the universality, you see the Asian market, you see the Coca-Cola, and you just boom, interesting. Okay, so you're buying this stuff and you don't even know that it's called a domain, what you're buying.
Yes, I was a student for economics on my first year. And
Okay.
instead of listening in macroeconomics or statistics courses, I wanted to be a monopoly, and I was reading about emojis and domains and how to get them. Instead of
In
learning,
class.
I did that. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, so continue on your timeline, but I'm dying to know your actual ROI.
Another
Brand yourself through
example.
great. But anyway.
Another example is that the guy next to me is telling me, dude, you're addicted to these emojis. You're missing the material in the course. And then I see he have a box of Camel cigarettes on the desk. And I look on my phone, which had back then maybe 800 emojis. And then I see it's literally the same camel. The camel on the cigarette box and the camel in my phone. So I immediately bought the camel emoji. And I said, I can sell it to them, to this cigarette company.
Wow. And is that a trademark issue? Did you sell
So
it to them? What?
no, I tried to reach them, but until now it's mine. The trademark question always pops up, and the trademark is actually owned by the company who is drawing the emojis. Every major company like Samsung, Apple, Facebook, or Twitter is drawing for themselves the emojis after they are being accepted by Unicode. Unicode is gathering every quarter in a major company's office like Google or Microsoft, and then they decide on new emojis. After this process, every company is drawing the emojis. So you can see here, for example, my shopping bags emoji is not the same like in your smartphone. The colors are a little bit different, the design is a little bit different.
Wow, this is amazing, amazing. So yeah, so if the camel's there, it's been approved by Unicode, and although it sounds like there is no legal precedent regarding trademark, at the end of the day, Unicode approved it as a universal symbol, not as a trademarked symbol.
Exactly. And the Apple version is very, very similar to the Camel cigarette company version.
So I didn't understand what you just said. The what?
So the camel emoji on Apple keyboard or in any Apple platform is very similar to the one existed from the 70s or the 50s of that cigarette company.
Interesting. Okay. So if they're going to sue you, they better sue Apple and Unicode too.
Exactly. And I'm selling actually xn-something.ws. This is
Oh,
the
it's not
product
like
I'm
you're
selling.
selling xn-joecamel.com or .ws. Okay, I hear ya. All right.
Yeah,
And I mean, neither
yeah.
one of us are lawyers and there is no legal precedent. So, who knows, but this is your approach. Okay. Is it time yet? Do we hear your ROI and sell-through rate yet?
Yes. So in October, after this gold rush, 8 months after this gold rush, GoDaddy had a hackathon in their Arizona office. And a very clever guy called John Roy, which was my colleague in the past Sherpa show, won this competition by creating a website that making the registration of emoji domains very, very simple by adding an emoji selection tool like you show to everyone in the Chrome extension. And this was the project that won the hackathon because it's brilliant and because it was making money from the first minute. And John, while created this project, saw that almost all the single emojis.ws are taken by me or by others. So he put by default the selection of two emojis, like heart and a pizza, a beer and a smiley face, or the burger and the fries, for example. And then what happened is that around 40,000 domains were registered in the last 2 years.
Interesting. And through do we know his site? Is it up anymore?
It's iheart.ws.
Huh. Okay. So you can how do you do that? You can
Actually, if you Google emoji domains on Google, I think is the first option.
I did notice that, by the way. But,
so this project
I'm going through this the hard way. So I would have to put in there the letter I, then I right click and I find the heart.
And then .ws.
Yes, I have issues with heart and then .ws.
Yes.
Okay. So it takes me over and it's emoji domain registration.
Yes.
And then there you are, your pizza and robot. And how did this start? You said this started making money right away. How? So he explains how they each work, asks all the typical questions, and then you can search and register?
Yes, so this is actually a redirection tool to GoDaddy website.
Okay.
And here you see some
code. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you go to register it, you actually are in GoDaddy website, but in a much comfortable way.
Okay. Now, I notice it offers .ws, .to, and .fm. What are your thoughts on these other TLDs for emojis?
So, you know what? I will answer it while I talk about the timeline.
Okay, fair enough.
So this is October 2016. Only .ws is in the game. And then of course, I wake up in the morning and I see hundreds of emails, hundreds. And I am shocked. I thought it's the same guy, but then I see it's from all over the world because many media platforms covered the story of GoDaddy winning project. Like Mashable, Inc., Forbes, many others. And then I said to myself, okay, I need to do something. I'm here on something because until then, I had 0 sales. It's almost more than 18 months without any sale.
And had you been trying to sell them or you just were still in the buying and excitement mode?
Exactly. I was in that mode and also discovering how to redirect everything to the same website, create a legit website, everything, yes.
Wait. Learning what GoDaddy was, learning what a domain name is. You were busy.
Yeah. And also making my credit card to be able to pay overseas from the scratch. Yes.
Yeah, you overcame a lot of challenges. You really did, and just kept at it. Okay.
And
Did you
all of
pass
them,
macroeconomics and statistics?
yeah, it was hard because my entire degree was involved with emojis, but yeah, I finished with it. I graduated.
Nice.
Yes.
Good job. Congrats.
So
Okay.
on January, almost 2 months after this crazy bulb that pops out and this awareness of emoji domains, I flew to NamesCon. And I said to myself, I will tell everyone there that now they can buy emoji domains. And if GoDaddy did it, I'm legit.
Huh.
And this was my point of view. Yeah, I said I will go to disrupt the industry with many chutzpah. You are familiar with this term?
Oh yeah, yeah, and you definitely, it took a lot of, I don't know, I have always said chutzpah. It took a lot of chutzpah to do what you did, to, take, what a huge risk for all those, couple of years at that point. And it sounds like also you were very isolated, that you didn't have a network, a community to share ideas, to bounce things off of, to figure out problems. Yeah, good for you.
My father was telling me that I am addicted to emojis and I'm losing all my money.
Yeah, and did anybody tell you you're crazy too, or stupid?
Yes, of course. Many students and
You're like, oh, I thought that was obvious.
My friends told me when we hang out, enough with the emojis. We understand everything about it now.
Okay, so you'd bought all these domains. You had not tried to sell them. And your next step was to go and meet people and share your excitement and enthusiasm, not to turn a profit. What were you thinking there?
So I wanted to feel the field, the ground, and the market. So I came to NamesCon and spoke with random people, which after that I discovered they are known people in the industry, and some people like Paige Howe, Mike Seiger, and many others. For example, I spoke with someone about emoji domains. I tell him, now you can have among your domains on your GoDaddy account the shortest domain you can have, and it will be with color. And then the guy told me, yes, I know, I sold lately we.com.
What?
He sold we.com, we.com.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of people that were aware of domains, most of them are entrepreneurs on NamesCon, and also are pioneers and early adopters. So it was easy to describe this new thing and also to sell to investors.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So did you sell any domains while you were there?
Yes. So I sold on NamesCon and afterwards. And since then, I made connections and started negotiating with a lot of people. And the fact that GoDaddy was selling the same thing and GoDaddy have a booth was amazing. It made me look more legit.
What, GoDaddy's booth was highlighting emoji domains?
No, but when people were asking me, I was saying, yeah, you can have this on your GoDaddy account. You can ask on GoDaddy, the GoDaddy guy.
Yeah, look, it's true. Okay.
Exactly.
Wow. Exactly. Okay. And it sounds like that gave you the vocabulary, education, and confidence to then outbound sell to end users. Is that right?
Yes, I was practicing on the difference between registrar, and registrant.
Yeah. Now, were you doing that on purpose?
Yes, I came to just tell everyone about emoji domains, and I gave to myself a mission that every single attendee will hear about it. That's it.
Ha! And you really, in that process, received so much feedback that could, and in such a short amount of time, that I'm sure that really helped you formulate what objections potential buyers would have, how to present it to them, how to help them understand it. Really, really neat. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I must say, you are very right, because the entire industry was very, very welcoming, and I didn't accept that. Many people that I guess you consider your friends were very welcoming me, inviting me for beers, wanted to hear more about emojis and also about me, where I'm coming from, and I never accepted that.
wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
the
learned a lot.
domain industry it is welcoming. It is so unique with, like, finally your friend saying enough about the emojis, and now you found your people in this area. That's special.
Yes.
So now, by the time you attended NamesCon, at this point you sold your first domain at NamesCon to other investors. Then
Yes.
what happened next?
So what happened next? Domain investors were interested. While I'm doing 10 or 20x for the domains, they are interested to sell it to the end users, also in 10x. So because I was the first, then it's not high numbers. It's 3-4 figures for me, and 5 figures for the investor. So it was still very easy to sell. And what happened next is that I met Mike Seiger and other people, domain investor, that kind of created a small community and a group on NamePros, people that had emojis and heard about it thanks to me. And then on April, Mike uploaded the Sherpa interview. And then the Sherpa interview actually made emojis well known and much more legit as working domains and as a product. So the domain Sherpa has a very important place in new trends in the industry. And the emoji domains.
That's true. But do you think it was just, people heard about it and there was a rush of buying it and then it plateaued? Or has that been steady growth?
I think it's somewhere in the middle, to be honest. There was a big hype, a lot of inquiries and everything for a long time. And then people people want and wait to see an end user using it in any given way of campaign. And unfortunately, it didn't happen until today that a big brand will use it again like Coca-Cola did. But they do now. A lot of brands and known companies globally have emoji domains. I can give you more than 20 or 40 companies that have it, but we didn't saw their use.
Okay. So tell me this. What's your sell-through rate out of all how many emoji domains have you purchased over the years?
So
three years, you said?
So my first domain was in the beginning of 2015.
Okay.
And I sold more than 300. I bought more than 300 and sold around 200 emoji domains.
Oh, that's a huge sell-through. I mean, that's a 66% sell-through rate over 4 years?
Yes, and most of them are single emoji domains, and maybe 10% or 15% are combinations, 2 emojis together.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yes.
Okay, so not like Pizza Robot that we saw on John's site being silly. Okay. Exactly. And now, wait a minute. As you sell them, it's, just like a premium.com, it's very difficult to replace. What's your future plan? Or what's your replacement plan, or do you have one? So
the thing is that I'm selling them from the beginning from low 4 figures to high 4 figures. This is the cost. And it depends on the usage and on how the emoji is popular and the ability to sell it to end user. For example, if it's the coffee emoji, it's an emoji that everyone knows and many, many companies can use. But if it's the lion emoji, it's cool. It's the king of the animals. It's the first emoji on the keyboard. And this is a factor actually when I calculate the price.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So this is where the market is now. But I personally moved into a phase where I'm looking only for end users. I will not sell an emoji if the guy will not use it. So now I'm waiting. I'm actually now talking to the scooters companies like Lime and Bird, if you heard about them, to have the scooter emoji.
For the little scooter emoji. Okay. Now, so you say emojis sell low to high 4 figures, and you're buying them at .ws. You're buying them for $4.99 a year and renewing them year over year. What's your ROI to date?
So the return on investment is a little bit complicated because to get them for the first year was $35 from the registry. Yes.
Okay.
And every year there are new emojis. For example, the emojis that are very, very new and will be shown in our keyboard soon are Unicode 12 like flamingo emoji and the ninja emoji and others.
And those aren't here yet, but they're coming?
Yes, they are coming. So to get these domains, you need to be the first and to pay $35 to the registry, which is .ws.
Okay. And new emojis, I remember you talked about this on your last Sherpa. You said you tried in the beginning to get on the board, but you have to fly there. But so it's a once a year event that the Unicode people get together and approve new emojis, correct?
Yeah, they meet on a quarterly basis, every time in a different headquarters. And then they decide which emojis will be approved from a big list and a lot of requests. Many people request emojis, like a Spanish guy wanted their traditional food paella, or a Muslim girl wanted their hijab they put on their head, and and one guy wanted a chair. So a lot of emojis, yes.
Okay.
I'm not taking part of it because it's very far from the process when the companies is adopting them.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes time.
And is there a limit? Like they only issue 20 new emojis per quarter?
So yeah, they sum it up to a 1 year introduction of new emojis, and they most of the times doing 70 new emojis.
So they do 70 new emojis per year?
Yes.
Once a year.
And I'm trying to be the first one who is registering them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, wait. And now I'm like, what just happened in our conversation and in technology? So are we talking about new emojis that are put on the keyboard, or new emojis that are released as domain names? Or in order to be a domain name, it has to be on the keyboard? What just happened?
Yes, so it's actually the same answer. It's happening together.
Okay.
The guys behind the scenes, in the tech point of view, they see the Unicode being approved, and they add it.
Okay.
And it happens in the same time when it's in our keyboards. And
makes sense. Okay. Yeah. And so how, like, is that a day every year? Are you willing to share that?
It's not a specific day I'm aware of, but I'm looking on their website to see when is their meeting, when they decide. Yes.
Okay. So then once they decide, then you just kind of have to keep checking.
Yes. So in the past, when I was the first in the world to do it, I was reading what they decided on, their conclusions, and I had the ability to see the Unicode. Sorry, I was able to see the Unicode and transfer it or translate it into the XN dash dash.
Okay.
And then I was the first to buy it.
Okay. So back to your ROI. Give me a number.
It's complicated. The renewal is around $22 per year.
For the ones that you purchased, that you were the first?
Yes. For any emoji I have, the renewal is $22, or in GoDaddy or in a Domain Cost Club. This is the places I'm
okay. So, so the renewal is $22. Even though if you purchase a new emoji right now, say you bought Pizza Robot and that was available and you bought it, it's only $4.99. But to renew it is going to be $22.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So even though it's a .ws, and in general, nobody's paying $22 to renew a .ws, but you are. But the emojis are more valuable, and they know that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
This is the case here.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, I can. People have a lot of questions because after the show, there was a big wave of people asking and talking about emoji domains. This is April 17. And then a year later, I can lead a committee. It's called SSAC, a security committee, which saw the DomainSherpa interview, saw me working everywhere in the NamesCon of 2017 and 2018.
Yeah.
And they did actually a discussion about emojis.
And that's when they realized, like the PayPal example you gave earlier.
Yes, they saw, they knew that 10 years before that, emojis were not allowed in .com, but they were talking about CCTLDs or maybe approving it again 10 years later. Yes, so the DomainSherpa made ICANN to speak about emoji domains.
Hi, ICANN. What's up?
And unfortunately, in my point of view, I call it fear. I think they had a fear from approving or recommending it. So the CCTLDs that joined the game and approved the emoji domains are still limited. It's less than 10 CCTLDs that approve emoji domains.
Okay.
Because of that. Yeah.
All right. So hang on. So what's your ROI? You've been at this 4 years. Spit it out. Come on.
I don't have an exact numbers to share.
Okay. Make a guess. It can be a percentage point or it can be a dollar amount. I mean, so you've bought about 300, you've sold about 200, you buy them for $35 to $22 per year, and you sell them generally for 4 figures, low or high. So
that's the numbers. Yes, that's the numbers.
So you're going to make me do math. Is that how this is ending?
I think so. Yes.
That's mean.
No, I'm humble. I'm not. I'm satisfied. Okay. Yeah. Emoji domains in general gave me 6 figures in profit.
Okay, that works for me. Over 4 years, you have made a solid 6 figures in profit.
Out of emojis only, yes.
All right, that works for me. Good, and congratulations. That works for you.
Yes.
Congratulations. Wait a minute. That's excellent. Good. Tell me, I wanted to ask you earlier when we were talking about the traffic from Asia, and you said the Philippines is really the exclusive Asian traffic that you see. What are your main countries for traffic in general? Or what are your main countries for end user buyers?
So the answer is actually the same answer for both of them. My main traffic is where my main buyers coming from, and it's America, USA. And The other countries are countries like France, Germany, England, and those big countries in Europe. This is
Okay,
my
Germany
main.
or no?
Yes, also Germany. Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like the most active on the internet countries are this, it's the same. So the same that you would say for who are the most .com buyers, or who are the,
Yes.
who are probably the biggest Google Analytics spenders, or, I mean, Google advertising, it's all the same. So the ones who are kind of at the forefront, the most savvy, but also have the most extra cash for,
Yeah.
say,
So
something that may be a risk. Okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
my main customers, the people who buy domains for me, are domain investor mainly. I can say it's 85% of the domain I sold were to active domain investors. So they are coming from countries where our domain investor exists.
Okay. So if
So
85% of your sales are to other domain investors, that, in a way that concerns me for the longevity. But it sounds like now you have multiplied, instead of just you trying to educate the end users of the world, you have all, 200 domains that you've sold, and these end users are also, these other investors are also educating end users to proliferate this. So, so this
yes,
really is, you're a pioneer. And, I think most people, emojis are not going to be their primary portfolio, just like you have expanded into .com.
exactly.
Others learning about the emojis may expand, and have a percentage of their portfolio hold emojis, or they may want to get the paella or something else introduced. Random aside on flamingos, you got to buy the flamingo. I want to buy the flamingo. I had a client whose entire domain portfolio was about flamingos, and she sold flamingo stuff, like everything flamingo. And she lived in Florida, where I don't know if you've ever been to Florida, but there are like flamingo signs everywhere. And she made 6 figures a year selling flamingo things online. And she was wacky, and I loved her. And she showed me a world I never could have imagined. She was really my first understanding of a real niche, and she made it work.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, people are crazy about flamingos. Buy that up. But anyway, because I would think that's not a product or service, it's a bird. No, flamingos have like huge followings. I don't know why.
It's like the unicorn,
Yeah, like the unicorn. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's like an additional marketing tool for this company you mentioned with the flamingo. So of course this company with the flamingo have their own branding and everything, but it's additional to printing catalogs, brochures, stuff like that. So having the emoji domain is sitting somewhere among having a Twitter account, a Facebook page, and the cool emoji domain that you can use.
Yeah, to balance it all out, and for what the future may hold, especially at that price point, that's reasonable. Interesting. Well, we're coming towards the end, Matan. What else do you want to share with the Sherpa Network?
One thing is actually the thing that we are waiting for an end user to use it, because many companies have emoji domains, and I hope we see in the near future someone using it in a viral video, in a TV advertisement.
So end users are using them, just you want to see something go viral or something get a lot of attention, like the Coca-Cola incident.
Exactly. They are using them, but not telling the world to use it.
Yeah.
So we need more education. that the process of typing emoji and then the extension would be something known.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Super cool. Yeah. Well, thank you, Matan. Not only for so freely sharing the path that any investor can take, but also for sharing your excitement and your perspective. I think, for domain investors to see a fresh and different approach, different ways to find a niche, is really encouraging. I mean, not many people came in to domains in 2015 and have made a six-figure profit like that. And I'm curious. I'm uncertain what the emoji future will hold, but I'm really curious, and I think it's important that domain investors, have pieces of their portfolio with segments like this that are, more risk, but also more cutting edge. So who knows? Very exciting. Thank you, Matan. It's just a pleasure to have you in the industry, to see you at the conferences. I always enjoy speaking with you. So cheers with your Sherpa mug. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And last sentence is that I really, really thank you for being doing the Sherpa. I watch it every time in the gym 3 times a week, and in the traffic jams in the podcast, and I learn a lot every time. I really, really like it.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm delighted that you do. And I think that it's a huge part of people's lives, and it's fun to do this. So yeah, I'll see you in Portugal. Yes.
I hope so. Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. Thanks, Matan.
Thank
See you
very
next
much.
time.